Hello and welcome. My name is Mel and I am a turtle guardian. Today I'm going to show you how to make a turtle nest protector so that you can help protect turtle eggs from being disturbed while they are incubating in the nest. So today we're going to be making a nest protector cage with wooden sides. There are several other designs for nest cages that exist, but we like this one at Turtle Guardians because it's sturdy and harder to remove, which means that it could be more effective at preventing predators from getting to the eggs inside the nest. First, let's take a look at what materials we will need to build the cage. The first thing you'll need is some wood. You will need 8 to 10 feet worth of 2x4 planks. You can get these at a lumber or home improvement store, or you can repurpose some old wood like we have done here. If you choose to reuse old wood, make sure to remove any old nails or screws from it before you use it. You'll also need some 3-inch long screws and some wire mesh that has a grid of 1/4 inch. We use the 1/4 inch mesh so that predators cannot get their hands stuck in the mesh and injure themselves if they're trying to get to the eggs. We want to prevent predation, but we still do not want to harm the predators. Other things you'll need include a measuring tape, a drill and a screwdriver, a saw, and you'll also need some other smaller tools such as a hammer, wire cutters, pliers, a staple gun, tent pegs, and eye hooks. You also want to make sure that you can properly protect yourself. You will need gloves, closed-toed shoes, and eye and ear protection while you are making your nest cage. First, measure out your wood. You want 4 pieces of wood that are 2 to 2.5 feet long each. If you're making a nest cage for a snapping turtle nest, use 2.5 feet because snapping turtle nests are much bigger than other species of Ontario turtle. Cut the wood into 4 pieces using a saw. I asked my friend Matt here to help me with this part. Make sure you know how to use all the required tools and ask someone for help if you do not. Next, you're going to cut small openings in the wood on 1 piece of the wood only. These holes are the exit holes for the hatchlings when they emerge from the nest in the fall. We choose to put exit holes only on one side so that we can try to direct the hatchlings away from the road if it is nearby. You want the holes to be 1.5 inches tall and about 2 to 2.5 inches wide. Measure out the holes, spreading them out across the wood plank. Using your saw, cut notches in the wood where you measured the sides of the openings. These notches should be 1.5 inches long as you measured them. Be careful not to cut all the way through the wood. Next, use a hammer to make the exit holes themselves by hitting in between 2 notches. Since the cuts were made perpendicular to the grain of the wood, the pieces should pop out pretty easily. So now we have 4 sides for the nest protector, and we have hatchling exit holes on one side. Looking great! Next, we need to attach the 4 sides together. I decided to drill guide holes in the wood before I put in the screws, just to make it a little bit easier. Drill 4 guide holes, 2 on each side, into 2 of the 4 sides of the cage. Once that's done, you can attach the 4 sides together by drilling screws through the guide holes. Make sure you have a long enough screw that it gets all the way through the wood. 3-inch long screws worked well for us. So now we have a nice frame for our nest cage. Next, we're going to have to attach the wire mesh. Measure out a rectangle that's about 2 feet by 2.25 feet to fit across the entire cage frame. Try not to leave any mesh overhanging on the sides of the cage, as this will be a sharp hazard. But you also want to make sure that there are no holes left on the frame once the mesh is attached. Cut the wire mesh out with wire cutters. Use gloves to protect your hands from the sharp edges. Attach the wire mesh using a staple gun. We didn't quite get the right measurements here. It's a little bit long, but that's okay. If you don't quite cut the perfect piece of wire mesh, you can always try to fold the excess wire over the wooden side. Bigger is always better than too small. Now the basic nest cage is finished, but we still need to secure it to the ground when we install it over a turtle nest in the spring. There are a few options for how to do this. The first option, which is what we recommend, is to screw eye hooks into the sides of the wood, 1 at each corner. Attach them fairly close to the bottom of the cage or close to where the ground will be, but don't attach them so close to the edge that the wood might crack. Then you can put tent pegs through the eye hooks and hammer them into the ground. Make sure that they will go straight down into the ground and not at an angle, as this could potentially damage the eggs that are buried in the nest. The second option is to put tent pegs directly through the mesh at each corner of the cage and hammer them down very securely. Again, make sure that they are not going into the ground at an angle. This works fine, but might be less secure than the eye hooks option. Finally, if you really can't find tent pegs or eye hooks, you can place heavy rocks on all 4 corners of the cage to hold it down. Do not block the top of the cage though. It is very important that the soil on top of the nest gets enough sun so that the eggs can incubate at the right temperature. So there you have it, your very own nest cage! Remember not to install a nest cage on public property, including roadsides, without proper permits to do so. If you are in the Land Between region or other parts of Ontario where Turtle Guardians operates, you can call us and we will help you decide if the nest cage can be installed under our research permits. If you have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to contact us. You can call 705-457-1222 or email us at citizensciencetlb@gmail.com. Thank you so much for watching.